So request all the panelists to switch on your videos and requesting the audience to switch off your videos and be on mute unless you have some specific Q&A and you'll be given an opportunity to post your questions towards the end. So good morning to the panelists.
Good morning.
And welcome to this yet another exciting episode of the iChem show. I'm so happy that you have taken time on a Sunday morning to participate in this show. This show is sponsored by Excellencia Group and Essentia Schools. And we're going to debate today on a very exciting, a very good old topic, which is debated widely across families, across platforms, across cities, towns, and states in India. The competition to crack the IIT JEE and the NEET exam, the medical entrance exam and the IIT JEE exam, supposedly one of the most difficult and competitive exam on planet Earth. And first of all, let me congratulate you for making it through and reaching this stage today where you are.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Before we get into topics of why IIT and when to prepare for IIT, I'm sure all of you know, including our audience, that people start preparing for IIT as early as even 6th standard IIT entrance exam. And when we ask why they start, they are really not sure why, because everybody else is doing it, so they've joined the race to start early preparation. So there are two reasons why people don't make it to the IITs. We generally know stories of people who have made it to the IITs and the best medical colleges. But there are reasons why people don't make it to the IITs or the best medical colleges. Obviously, the first reason is very obvious. The demand outstrips the supply. But the second more important reason is that people don't know exactly what the structure is to be followed. So because everyone else is doing it in a certain way, we try to ape it or imitate it. So that's the entire reason for having this panel discussion today, to find out from the people who have cracked it, to know a few insights, a few key insights, a scoop of what could be done and what should not be done. Before we get there, may I request the panelists to give an introduction about yourselves, where you are from and what you were doing earlier, and how did you reach where you are today? A quick one. Shall we start with Abhilash and then move on to Aksha and then Nihal?
Sure, sir. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, teachers, parents, and students out there. My name is Abhilash. I am currently working as a supply chain consultant in a Mahindra Group company. Before this, I completed my MBA from SP Jain, and prior to that, I completed my BTech from IIT Kanpur. I started my preparation 11th onwards, so I know how it is, how advantageous it would be to start early or start late. So maybe we can discuss that as we come across. So that's small intro about me.
Great, welcome Abhilash. Aksha?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Aksha, and I'm a sophomore at IIT Ropar under the mechanical department, and I've studied 11th and 12th in Excellencia, and I've got a good, strong foundation and coaching from 9th. So that's about my introduction.
Great. Nihal?
Hello, everyone. I hope having a good day. I'm Nihal. I'm in my second year of aerospace engineering in IIT Madras. Unfortunately, I didn't have a foundation in my schooling days, so I kind of in the other half. I started my JEE preparation in 11th and 12th itself, and I know what foundation can add to your preparation. So that's I can contribute. That's how I'm contributing to this panel today.
Great, Nihal. So I think we have a very diverse and exactly the panel that we want today. People who have started foundations and people who have not done the so-called foundations, just did 11th and 12th and coaching for IIT JEE. Great. So we will go in the same serial order, starting with Abhilash and then moving to Aksha and then Nihal. So first question is for Abhilash. When should we start preparing for JEE or maybe the NEET, whichever competitive exam? You can talk from an IIT perspective because you have taken the IIT.
Okay. So let me tackle this with a story that personally belongs to me and my family. So I am the elder brother in my family, and I have a younger sibling. I I realized that I like physics and mathematics, and I need to do engineering, and that's how most of our middle class families think, and that's what we are exposed to, and that's what my aim was then. And my preparation began from 11th onwards, and I always loved mathematics and physics, and hence what happened was till class 12th I was very good in maths and physics, but never used to attempt chemistry. And in the last 3 months I had to struggle a lot, and eventually I was able to score good marks and qualify. I was able to secure all India rank of 1700 and got into IIT Kanpur. But let's see the other half. My younger brother, who is 5 years younger to me, once I got into IIT, he was in class 7th, and I started asking him to push. I started pushing him. I started asking him whether he understood something or not. I started giving him a few questions which have options, and he has to tackle those questions. So this is something not happens in school, and not everyone has a younger brother or a younger sister to do this. And he had this advantage with him. And as so keeping assuming that he was not a lot genius than me, and everything in our family remains the same, parents and other things, what happened was he was able to secure 836 rank, and he's currently doing he's currently doing computer science from IIT BHU. And so that's a personal testimony from my side. So this is what I feel, that if there is no particular age from where you can start, it can go as low as you want. But the idea is you should parents and teachers as well as the students, they should know that what skills they are students are required nowadays to crack these exams. They should be exposed to and given a chance to understand what kind of opportunities are out there, and they should be a complete feedback in the system. Like in the school system, only exams are the scope where a performance can be measured for a student. But what happens after that? There is no completion of the feedback. There is no approach which is tailored made to a particular student, that whether he understood the concept or not, or why he failed to understand a concept and scored low. So that is very important. That could be a reason where a foundation course can be helpful, where you have a focused attention of teachers, a dedicated time, a completion of the feedback from exam as well as homework. So that's why I feel that is important, and it should be started from an age of or maybe a standard of 8th, 9th. That's a perfect age according to me.
Great. I think you made a very solid point by giving that narrative of yourself and your younger brother. Puts things in perspective. Very clear. Aksha, would you like to add on?
Yes, I definitely agree with Abhilash. It really helps to have a foundation early on, because once your basics and your fundamentals are really strong, you can focus on the tougher problems or problems that require more detailed analysis towards 11th and 12th. Once your foundations are very clear in 9th and 10th itself. For example, like most of my friends who are studying in IITs, if you take like an average of everybody, most of them will say that they've started from 9th or 8th, and they've already exposed themselves to competitive exams. So this is the statistic among the people. So I think it's really crucial to have that in the initial stages. Yes.
Interesting. Nihal, I will just spin this question a little bit since both of them were already answered. Do you think somewhere talent beats, rather hard work beats talent? Because, is it necessary really to start 6th and get accustomed to that competitive exam pattern? Or is it okay if I take it cool and start from maybe 9th or 10th onwards and still do it? Or how is it?
Saying talent beats hard work, it's completely wrong in my opinion. Since I believe every student in any way can achieve anything as long as they have proper guidance and a proper system of how they approach things. So the point here being that it's important to understand what you're learning rather than the amount of information that you actually learn. And this is more important in your school level because that's where you build your skills, and that's where the skills that you require in cracking JEE are actually built, like the foundation. That's what foundation courses also help you to do. So those skills being mainly problem solving and analyzing your concepts and trying to apply what you learn in the school outside of school. Sounds simple, but it isn't. So a lot of students fail in this aspect, and a lot of teachers fail to understand and they fail to correct them, and then a lot of students are on the wrong track. I would say. So, and also like we all have observed, like in the current modern school system, we only have one, like Abhilash said, we only have one form of testing, which is exams, and that leads to this kind of result-oriented teaching, which happens in schools. A little bit of rote learning and just preparing for board exams and nothing else. This kind of handicaps students in a sense. So they aren't, they aren't encouraged to go beyond what's taught in the school. They aren't encouraged to study something else which interests them. They aren't encouraged to, listen to read science magazines or listen to podcasts or go beyond the syllabus and do something else which interests them. And I think that's where you develop your skills in order to progress further. So when you take interest in the subjects, or when you try to apply your concepts elsewhere in other competitive exams, and these kinds of environment, it helps you build yourself not only for competitive exams but for your career in general. And these are some important skills that parents should understand, which should be there in schools, but they're sometimes missing, and then they should be taking responsibility to provide that for their kids. So that's just one point which I wanted to add. So talent doesn't beat hard work. Anyone can do anything, and just proper guidance is important.
So just taking your point forward to Abhilash, he just mentioned about creating curiosity. Nihal mentioned about creating curiosity in learners, and that competitive exams can bring out that curiosity, which is not possible from a board exam perspective because we end up doing rote learning just to get those marks. So competitive exams, do you think, Abhilash, bring out that curiosity? Because I feel that again is another race to just somehow crack those questions and get through. What is your opinion about it?
You are correct, and I totally don't agree that competitive exams are the only way to bring out those curiosity. But that's the sad part, because in India we are so many people, and the pie is so small that there is no better way to judge and to judge and select a bunch of people. So that has to be there. Competition is going to be there in all the fields, and to conduct in a specific way, competitive exams are going to be there where you are going to have a question and you are going to have 4 or 5 options, and the skills that are being tested are your subject matter skill, your aptitude and reasoning skill, so that you can how quickly you can tackle the particular question at that given moment, and how better you are from a lot of people who are out there. If we were in a country, let's say US, Finland, which is one of the most happiest countries in the survey yesterday, the things would have been completely different. But from our perspective, we have to face this. This is who we are. We have to thrive on this, and that's how the things are going to be. So yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, that point is right about the population, and this Finland example keeps coming up in every debate. But unfortunately, Finland is maybe, I'm not sure even if it is as big as Bangalore or Delhi
Correct.
in terms of population. So, Aksha, what is your take on this competitive exam thing and bringing out the curiosity in kids? What do you think?
Yes, whether we like it or not, JEE in specific is competitive. As you can see the statistics, it's only increasing the number of students giving the exam every year. And out of the 12 to 14 lakh odd people who apply for JEE Mains, there are only 12,000 seats in IITs. So you can see the ratio, how competitive it is. So I think it's important to, train yourself. And talking about curiosity, I don't think competitive exams are the best way to bring out the curiosity in a child. I think giving these small puzzle books, or like talking about amazing people like Richard Feynman and stuff, so I think that really inspires me, because as a child I was really into science fiction. So that really inspired me more than, let's say, a teacher explaining something. Reading stories about how great scientists progress about when they get a problem, and they're just like us, they're normal people. So I think listening to those kind of stories really brings out curiosity. Okay, if he could do it, or if she could do it, even I can do it. So And there's these beautiful books about, logical problems and puzzle solving problems. I think they really help you in, enjoying the subject as a whole, especially in mental ability and stuff. So they are definitely going to help you in maths and physics. It might not seem very direct that it might help, but trust me, it does help, and it makes it more enjoyable, the whole journey.
Yes, very, very good input. So, more than curiosity, Nihal, what do you think? Does it create stress? Is it creating stress in the system? She has already mentioned the ratio about so many people taking the exam and vis-a-vis the number of seats available. So somewhere, I think there is a stress and there is a FOM or fear of missing out in parents thinking that my child is going to miss out of the race.
I
So
just
let me start early.
regarding that, there was this one interesting fact which I observed when I wrote the exam just 2 years ago. So of course, the fact is there that a lot of people write the exam and it's fiercely competitive. But if you actually analyze the results of what come out of the test, there's only 5% of the people who write the exam actually score more than 30% of the marks. So if you see that, a lot of people, they fail to score a high number of marks in the exam. So the key to cracking this exam is to focus on yourself instead of the competition. So parents or any student need not be stressed out regarding, let's say 11 lakh people are writing the test. How can I, get into IIT or something? It doesn't matter how many people write the tests. It's just that as long as you are good, you will get through. That's what I'm trying to say. It's because only like 5% of the entire population gets more than 30%. If you can get more than that, then you're already on your way through the test. So you don't have to be stressed out. Of course, just by looking at it, like the syllabus and the number of people attempting it, it is stressful. But on the back of your mind, you should always be thinking about the fact that as long as you are improving yourself and as long as your fundamentals are correct and as long as you are able to perform, no amount of competition can stop you.
Abhilash, your thoughts on stress?
Sure. So stress is a natural part of our body, right? We get fever when our body is doing something very physical. It's struggling within itself and we get fever. We cure it with some medicine and try to normalize it, but it's a natural thing. Similarly, whenever we are doing something stress where we involve more of the mental processing, we'll get stress, and that's natural. And if we think of stress in this way, I think a lot of problem will be tackled anyway. The way and we have to think why we are getting stressful. Is it because our student, or if I'm a student, if I'm not understanding a particular subject, or if I'm getting stressful because all others are getting thinking the same. So we have to think in this way and maybe tackle the specifics. If I'm not understanding something, maybe why I'm not understanding something, I should be asking my teachers and discussing around that. And if I'm thinking that, okay, I'm just getting stressed because everyone out there is feeling the same, then I have to think that, okay, out of 10 lakh or 12 lakh people who are attempting, so many people are, if I'm feeling stressful, so many others would be there in the same situation. Now it's up to me how I capitalize on that and maybe make an effort to introspect within me if I'm on a right track or not. And if I'm on a right track, I should continue and move on and don't be bothered about the stress. And probably that's the trick here.
But we are discussing about kids who are 12 to maybe 16-year-olds, and obviously they will not be matured enough to handle stress. So where is the gap? I mean, who is responsible to create this environment where what suggestions you're making can be implemented? So
it's up to all the teachers who are out there, as well as all the parents out there who are actually looking out, creating that ecosystem where a student spends a lot of time. So students spending a time in classrooms, the teachers have to be optimistic and proactive in supporting and identifying if a student is feeling that's stressful, and maybe help him or her out to figure out what's the problem. At the same time, parents back in the home should be focused on inspiring the students and pushing them to have a routine rather than asking them how many marks you scored, are you in the top few bunch out there, and those things, so that the whole ecosystem supports the students. So it's a joint responsibility of both the stakeholders, I think.
Akshay, Abhilash is mentioning repeatedly about the ecosystem. But just think about the ecosystem where every day you open the website or pick up a newspaper, you are seeing about 1 crore, 10 crore salaries IITians getting, and what kind of stress is generated by the media. And you see hundreds of photographs in the newspaper of IITians getting JEE qualifiers and winners. So is that creating a stress on parents and that indirectly cascading to students? What do you think?
Definitely, I think yes, it creates stress and performance anxiety, especially when you're writing the exam. These kind of thoughts run behind, like in the back of your mind, like will I be able to do it, or all of these kind of doubts and all of that. So I think what really helps in channeling your stress in a positive way is having a mentor and a good plan. These two are very crucial. Why I mentioned mentor even before saying a plan is because I remember how important one word of encouragement was when I was in ninth and 10th and 11th and 12th. We are still young kids, who are trying to, find our place. And I think when a faculty member or anybody says, yes, you can do this, it's possible for you. And I think these affirmative sentences really help in, boosting confidence and morale. Sometimes we don't believe in ourselves and our potential. So it's important to have somebody, even if it's one sentence or one word, it's very important to have that encouragement from a faculty member or a parent in that sense. And it's all the more better if the person knows how the JE system works. So, and talking about a good plan, being disciplined, I think really helps you tackle all the stress, bit by bit, go slow and steady, but tackle it bit by bit. So once you do that, you can reassure yourself that okay, I have a plan, this is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm doing bit by bit every day. So um, see, if there's a lot of work at a time on your head, then I think that's when a lot of stress is created. If you see like I have to get air 100, for example, that's stressful. But if you say, let's say I have to solve 10 problems today, next day I'll solve 15 problems, I think then you see how you're dividing the stress, or it's not as burdensome as it seems. So don't try to look at it at a time. Of course it's important to have a long term goal and stuff, but always focus and plan according to your short term goals, and try to achieve your goals on a shorter term. You will eventually achieve the bigger goals.
I think a super point about mentor. Everybody requires a mentor, whether you're a student or even if you're a CEO. So the kind of mentor will change, but mentors are definitely needed at every stage in life. Fantastic point. Nihal, people have a misconception about IITs and IIMs. They are treated like placement agencies. The only reason that people want to get into an IIT or an IIM more specifically is to get a placement, which is obviously fine. It's a fair expectation to have, but that cannot be the only reason to study in a top tier engineering or a management college. There are other reasons also which are motivating enough, which differentiate IITs from other institutions. So according to you, since you already spent 1 or 2 years in an IIT, what do you think is different maybe from when you compare it with a tier 2 or a tier 3 college from your experiences dealing with other people? How is it different?
Um, the first major difference is the people around you. That being the students, the professors, the people who work in the labs, instructors, your teaching assistants, your seniors, everyone around you is a level above. That's what I'm trying to say. And there's this sense of scientific culture, or there's an interest in technology in the campus itself. There's a lot of people interested in a lot of things, and there's so many opportunities which open up for you because of that. And IITs, a lot of people, like you said, do think of it as a placement agency, and you end up with a good job at the end of it. But that's not the only thing. There's you get many opportunities to work in research with professors, in even opportunities abroad. To develop and further science, and at the same time, you can also explore different fields within engineering or within the science and research. And yeah, like I said, the major number one biggest difference between IITs and tier 1, tier 2 colleges is the people around you. All the students, all the teachers, all the professors, they're just is so much like I can't explain it in words. When you interact with them, you feel that the intellect between them, and you can share knowledge and you can gain a lot from them. So I think that should be one of the priorities if you really want to get into IIT or IIMs or any of the top colleges in India.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with that point. The best of the best from each school joined together in an institute. And so the room is full of the best people from the nation. So overall baseline and benchmark improves. So definitely the people matter. Abhilash, you have been working also after studying from IIT, you went to SP Jain, which is the equally good institute. And then you have been working. So what's the experience, life in IIT and life after IIT? Can you share some thoughts?
So that's a great question. So let me start. Once you crack the IIT, you feel you are at the top of the world. You have done a lot. Once you enter into IIT, there are events that seniors conduct, and the main idea of that is to bring down your ego, make yourself modest, and start the next part of the journey. And that's what you realize, because there are so many people, as Nihal was mentioning, around there who are equally and much more knowledgeable than you, and then it's a great opportunity to learn from them. And after that, once you come out into the industry, obviously your brand that you are from IIT matters, but then it all depends how you perform afterwards. How then? So for most of us, again, that's a lacking thing in the schooling. That is the soft skills. Those are not developed. So from there on, those fields, those things are more important, and the connections that we make. So that's how things transform. But yeah, the tag that you get from the IIT it's really important. It helps a lot in the journey, especially if you are in India.
Great. Aksha, you want to add something?
Definitely, being in IIT has its own perks. So one of the main things that I see here is the collaborative environment among friends. So even the toughest of the toughest projects or assignments or anything, you're tackling it with like-minded people. And when you collaborate, I think the whole experience is more wholesome. You're learning a lot more, and I think the peer group is very, very important, and you get a really good peer group in IIT. For example, like, just as much as good friends can make you and build you, bad friends can pull you down as well. So I think it's really important to have a really good peer group and like-minded people around you, and the professors are really amazing. Like, sometimes you're hearing a lecture from somebody who's like an awardee, like he has big awards, and he's from like, say, Harvard or something, and it's like a dream come true for me to be able to interact with such people. Like, so I think that really accentuates what the whole thing is about, the whole hype is about. And of course, the campus life, the culture and everything. Of course, IIT is a very humbling experience. Like, as Abhilash mentioned, we're all toppers until then, and then we go there and realize, okay, we're yeah, we're just like everybody here. Like, it's a very humbling experience. So you become one among them, and there's only not, it's not like all work and no play. So you work hard, you play hard. So the fests and everything about the campus, everything is really good. So yes.
Okay. So all of you have agreed to one point, that we are a sum total of the experiences and the people surrounding us. And this happens right from birth, and the schools that we study in, the colleges that we attend. So I'm sure you all have come across people who seem to be brilliant, who have decent IQ, maybe sometimes better than you, but still did not make it to the IITs or even the NITs or the top tier, top rung institutes. So, do you think there is some gap in the school level, or anything else that you think is amiss, because of which they could not make it? And if you think those corrective measures are taken, could have been better? Maybe we can start off with Nihal and then move on to others.
It's difficult to point out any one single reason on why a person would miss out on an opportunity. So, in general, a lot of people who are talented enough or who did the hard work and they miss out on JE or qualifying to a good college, they do so mostly because they couldn't write the exam well. So, basically, And why they couldn't attempt the exam well is because they weren't clear enough with the concepts behind the exam, or they weren't practicing the paper enough. And that kind of boils down, like if you go into your school level and your foundation in 8th or 9th or 10th or 11th, your primary focus should be on understanding the concepts. This rather than getting marks. And this should be the focus for everyone. And some students, they go into this trap of like scoring high marks, and then they kind of neglect what they're supposed to do, which is understanding 100% of what they're being taught. And this sometimes can set you back. Again, it's not like an advice or something I would give. Some students prefer to learn like that, but in general, learning your concept should be a priority. And if you think getting results or marks is a bigger priority, then that's a mistake. And another reason why people would miss out is, I would say, developing problem-solving skills. And this is especially in school level rather than intermediate level, because it's quite difficult to develop it in that stage. So within the school level, you should have skills to analyze a problem and to understand how to apply it, or which concepts to apply it, and be able to apply it. These are the 3 steps which you should be able to do by your school level. And it isn't hard to learn it in your 11th and 12th in your intermediate, but it's quite difficult to adapt and to move on like in those 2 years itself. So these are primarily the 2 big reasons why I would say people miss out or something, but it's quite easily achievable for any student in the same way.
Yeah. So adding to that, to Aksha, do you think the selection of a school makes a difference at this stage? So those problem-solving skills that Nihal mentioned about, and those kind of things that needs to be done at school level itself. If the surrounding and the ecosystem is not supporting, do you think it's possible?
I would like to say that just as much as problem skills, solving skills are important, I think focusing on how to manage your stress is very important, and that comes from an early age. Once you start exposing yourself to, let's say, this kind of environment, let's say the competitive environment, like writing the exam and that entire process of giving a test, I think nobody talks about how much anxiety can affect a person, even though they're really, really smart and they have been getting really good scores on the exam day. Some people just black out and they fail to score. I have seen countless examples of such people. Like, they are very talented, but they could not manage their stress, or on the exam day they couldn't get themselves together. So I think this is important to be inculcated from a young age, like from let's say 8th or 9th. It's important to train yourself to be mentally strong, and that doesn't come in just for 6 months or 3 months. It's not possible. It's a long journey. So I think having confidence and solving a lot of problems, how you build your problem solving skills is by exposing yourself to more problems and different diverse kind of problems. So school environment, like when you're selecting your school, like make sure that your school provides this kind of diverse problem sets to you, so that you can work on them and your doubts are cleared as well. Like, it's not only about solving problems, because once you start solving problems, it's inevitable to have some questions and doubts, right? So it's important to have somebody who's experienced enough to be able to clarify those doubts as well. So I think that's very important when you select a school.
Interesting. So before we close this session today, I would request each of you to maybe give tips for parents and students who are typically in mid school, maybe 5th standard, 6th standard onwards. So what are those things that they should start doing? Key things, maybe 2 points each for parents, 2 points each for students. They should start doing right now. So we can start with Nihal, and then we can move on to Abhilash and Aksha.
For parents, my 2 tips would be, number 1, always ensure your child is in the right environment. Don't pressurize them, or just encourage them, and first of all, take interest in what they're doing, what they're learning. Encourage them in every way possible. And number 2 is, don't look at the results as your final score, or don't judge your child based on the results. Of course, his interests are different, and the way he's understanding the concept is more important than his marks or something. And for students, my advice would be also the same thing. Like, don't think your marks are the end of your world. Uh, the number of marks you score in the exam doesn't matter. How you understood the concepts in the school level matters. So the better you understand your school level concepts, the easier it gets in 11th and 12th. So that is one tip that I would want to give school kids. And the second one is, of course, get your exposure to competitive exams. There's a lot of competitive exams in school level itself. They have Olympiads and talent search examinations and exams. So, um, along with being clear in the concepts, do practice these exams. It gives you some level of exposure, and it does help a lot. So, yeah.
Thank you. Abhilash?
Sure. So for parents, as Nihal was mentioning, I would request all of the parents to be just supportive and understand what their child is looking forward to, what they want, and just be supportive. And then you have to provide the right ecosystem, as we have been mentioning, a proper school, a good teaching, where you have good set of teachers who clarify your doubts. And once you have done that, the second task that I would request parents to do is, whenever you see that a student, your child is getting stressed out or is too much involved in studies, try to pull them out of study, make them go out for a walk, talk to them about the world, do something else, but don't talk about the study. Just trust them that they are doing fine, and be supportive. For students, I have not two tips, I have a lot of tips, but I would say that I would summarize it. So think about it this way: all the cricketers, legendary cricketers like Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar, they don't spend, they have had a lot of centuries. But if you see, they have spent a lot of time practicing on the doing net practices, and that's what you have to do. You have to spend a lot of time practicing, seeing the same problems and doing the same problems again and again, similar set of diverse problems. And once you do, you will realize that okay, what things you don't understand, how to manage time, and how to perform well in a stressful situation. All those skills will automatically come up if you do that. Apart from that, you have to make sure that you have a routine. You play, go out and play. You sleep by 12 and wake up by 7. That's a biological time, and you have to stick to that and at least sleep 7 hours a day. I have heard parents saying that during you are 16 years or 15 years, at this time you should not sleep more than 5 hours or 6 hours. So those things are not fine. Everyone has to sleep 7 hours at least, and then they will be fine for the next day. So make sure you do all this and have a routine.
Great, fantastic tips. Aksha?
My advice, first I would like to advise the students saying that, very often when we're solving problems, we get disheartened if we don't get the correct answer, or we get frustrated when we're not able to solve problems that others are, seemingly easily able to solve. So I think it's like a psychological trick that you keep telling yourself that it's good that I'm making mistakes. The more mistakes I make, the lesser is the chance that I'll make the same mistake in the exam, right? So if you make the mistake when you're practicing, feel happy. In fact, like, don't feel sad. Feel happy that, okay, now I've identified a mistake. So I won't repeat this mistake again in the future. So what matters is your exam score, right? Nobody sees if you're making mistakes while you're practicing, right? And in fact, it's a part of the process. Like, that's how things work in math and science. Like, it's not about writing an essay, right? So you have to keep practicing. You have to keep failing sometimes, and it's crucial to learn from them and not repeat it again when it actually matters that you perform. So this would be one advice for students. And second advice would be, try to divide your work as evenly as possible. Like, if you have, say, 10 days to prepare for an exam, try to divide your work. I know it's very hard because we tend to procrastinate and shift all the works towards the end, but you cannot produce quality work or good work if you're preparing only in the last 2 days. So it's there's a beautiful thing called diffused mode of thinking, so that really our mind subconsciously thinks about the problems when we are not actually working on them. So if you start early, like, say, beforehand, I think that really helps. So most students I've observed, they just start studying, and even it's glorified sometimes that okay, he studied only for 2 days and he got a top rank. So I think that's all. They're just trying to show that they have a high IQ, but it's all not true. If you go and see in their real life, they are working hard. So don't believe anybody who says they got quick results. That's all bogus. So you have to be sustainable and you have to keep coming at it every day. And my tip for parents would be, don't pressurize your kids so much. So I'll give you a very nice example. Like my father, like whenever I used to be stressed, he was like my pillar of support. Like, and I cannot tell you how important that was. Maybe I'm here only because of my father, you can say, in some sense, because he was very supportive and he never pressurized me that okay, you are supposed to get into IIT or NIT and stuff. And every weekend we used to, you know, talk to each other about, okay, I'm getting less marks in this, what should I do? I would ask him for tips, and my father was very encouraging. Like he would encourage me a lot and supportive in a lot of sense. So I think that support really matters to the child, because when you're low on self-esteem, you know, like I said, mentioned previously, 2 words of encouragement can go a long way. So parents should be supportive and encouraging, because this phase, it's a very delicate phase, and there can be many chances of mental breakdown, like when you're not performing. So if pressure also comes from parents side, just imagine what will go through the child. So it's important for parents to be supportive in this phase, at least like these 2 years especially. So yeah, that's my tip for parents.
Wonderful. So to quickly sum it up on what we discussed in the last 45 minutes is that, have a mentor in place, break down problems. So rather than worrying about how to get all India rank of 10 or 20 or 100, rather than that, handle what you have in hand, maybe how to solve the next 10 problems. That could be one way of looking at it. Be realistic about what you can really achieve. Start early so that you have ample time to make mistakes and then do corrections. So use a lot of rough paper before the exam so that your exam paper does not become a rough paper. And what else did we discuss? We also discussed about developing problem solving skills right from middle school or high school. So don't leave everything for class 11th and 12th. Unless really you did not get time to start early, maybe you can leave it to 11, 12, but at least build your foundations early. So that could help. And take the chill pill. Don't get too much stressed out over things. Stress will not bring results. Little bit of stress, as Abhilash said, is required, but not too much of it also. That can create a burnout. And IITs are great places. They are not just placement agencies. They're great places to study, collaborate, network, and learn beautiful things there. The professors are wonderful. So I think those motivational things are required. As Aksha also mentioned, inspiring professors, inspirational stories. I think that should be motivational factors to prepare for IIT. And parents should not stress children out, pressurize them, rather than that, handhold them and make them feel comfortable in their journey while preparing for competitive exams. So it was wonderful discussing with all three of you. And I think this discussion will be very useful to all parents who are watching us on Facebook or are part of this session right now, or all children, students, aspiring IITians. So it's going to be very useful for them. And thank you very much for sparing your time today. The 45 minutes that you spent for us are very important and helpful for all the children around. Thank you so much and have a good day ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and all the best to all the students.
Thank you, sir. All the best, everyone. Sir, are we taking questions from the people present here?
I don't see any questions. Anybody has any questions? The panelists would love to answer. You can type in the chat box if anyone has any questions, or if someone wants to come live here and ask a question, we can take them online. Sure. I don't see any questions. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir, I'm Nikita, sir.
Yes, Nikita.
Sir, how to start, sir?
How to start?
Can you rephrase your question? How to start what? The preparation for IIT?
How to enter the IIT?
Yes, yeah. So actually, her question is how to start the journey. Yeah, she is in the 6th standard.
Sixth
Okay.
standard.
Yeah.
Who would like to answer this from the panel?
I'll answer it. Yeah, sure.
Sure.
From sixth standard, just focus on one thing. Like whatever you study in school, just ensure that you're able to understand everything every single day. And once you understand that, then you can start thinking about foundation courses, or like going beyond the textbook, like reading other articles or stuff. Or the internet is pretty much a big resource these days. So your first preference from sixth grade, how to start in the sense, every single day when you go to school, understand everything your teacher is saying and understand everything that's there in your textbook. And this is the first basic step that you need to do, how to start.
I think it's important, like I mentioned, to read science fiction books and stuff like that, something that inspires you on the side, especially at a very young age. I think they leave a lasting impact. Like I don't think I would be the same person if I didn't read certain books. So it's important to read stories, autobiographies or biographies or science fiction, even if it's fiction. So I think that really helps in igniting that curiosity. Then you'll automatically start taking your subject seriously once you know why they're important. So I think that inspiration comes from books. So I think you can start reading novels about that.
All right. I don't see any more questions. Thanks, Nihal, Abhilash, Aksha. So in case there are any questions post the session, I will be in touch with you for your expert opinion on the same.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. It was nice speaking to everyone. I hope people will take something from this, and I hope many students listening to this end up in IIT. So all the best.
Thank you.
My best wishes to all the students present here, and yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Bye-bye. Host can end the meeting, please.